just finish off the video about the flail. There's a guy on this side of the river, back up the other side of Flailing, and he was driving a tractor with a flail on the back, and he'd stopped, and I said, "Problem?" And he said, "Yeah, big problem." And he'd snapped to the arm. He'd snapped what they are is they're just a fixture for the back of a tractor, and he'd snapped one of the mounting arms. It's got two arms that come in and meet, and then you do the hitch onto the back of the tractor at this central point, but the arms branch out and meet either side of the mounting of the flail. And he said, that's it, that's 2,000 quid those things cost, and that's my profit gone. And he works for the drainage board, and he's clearing the sides of the ditches so that the drainage board can dredge the ditches to drain these fields, because these ditches drain, although I rather fancy this one doesn't, they drain away from the river out into the Fens, and then down to up where they're pumped back into the river. And I guess that's an old system. And that's not him. There's someone else doing the same thing down there by the sounds of it. But these things that don't move, right? I mean, global warming, you're going to have a malaria problem here. Ask Bill Gates to sort it out for you. And the sun bakes the fields dry. It's no good for pumping water. There's organic technology for all of this, if you've got the knowledge that goes down to that level. But anyway, he's just a contractor for the drainage board, and he says this is the practice all over Bedfordshire, Huntingdonshire, Cambridgeshire. There are all these systems that have been in place. He's been working on this for years and years and years. These systems are there, and they're profit centres. And I don't know that there's such huge vested interests in maintaining them. I don't see any Bill Gates types buying up, marmalading all of this stuff together. They're just traditional sources of income. But this land is underutilized. You could be cleaning the river, you could be maintaining flow, you could be doing all these things if you had the data coming in. But Aiko Yonaki is sitting in the computer lab with a big pile of Raspberry Pi 2s and all sorts of data acquisition gear and stuff, and nothing to do with it because she hasn't got any money. I don't know how she maintains her job. But the problem with these things is you You need to be able to make software better than just by downloading Circuit Python onto these chips. I'd have thought you really need to be able to snap bits of software together like nobody's business. I saw quite an interesting Hackaday project which somebody had done a 6502 Pico, sorry, not 6502, a Pico, Raspberry Pi Pico instrumentation system. And I think it's entirely client software. It allows you to build up a panel and connect to your Pi Pico instruments. So you can connect up spectrum analyzers and audio digitization channels, because each of these is only £5. So you get these Picos on breadboards or whatever, and then feed them all into a PC, and you can snap together a control panel. So it's a better part of a SCADA system. Certainly good enough for running small electric solar powered pumps that checking water levels and pumping water back up into the river very slowly. And you know, once you get a decent head of water, maybe you can do ram pumps and things to do irrigation with it. And you could watch how the flow is going through those pumps, and you could watch how the pressure waves are banging back up the pipes. But you can also do this with plants and filtration systems, and you'd surely be changing the weather quicker than you'd be having to deal with the consequences of climate change. But how would you know? You only know that you're changing the weather if you've got small-scale local weather stations collecting very detailed information and then amalgamating it. Nathan's hilarious. A magma is a monoid. No, a magma is a groupoid. But I don't no idea how a groupoid connects to a monoid. I haven't got that far. I get a bit bogged down with Eugenia. She talks a lot about COVID and boring, powerful men and rich white men and poor black men, and social justice categories. And it is a struggle to get through those bits. And then I really liked it when Daniel Tubenow then goes and slaps Boolean logics into partial orders. I mean, that was just fantastic. That's wonderful. So that's what amalgamating is. Amalgamating. Amalgamating is something you have to ask Nathan about. I think it's an intermediate representation of some kind, Peter. You know how people seem to need the intermediate representations